Hello, this is Sirena Nereida with Celestial Soul Wellness. Today we're talking about the lunar eclipse today in 26-degree Libra. Today is the 15th of April, and this is a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse has the strength of at least 5 full moons. So we're feeling that pull, that energetic pull more than usual. Why? Remember, we are mostly water. We are at least 75% water. So just like the moon affects the tides, it's going to affect us, especially if it's an eclipse. So with this eclipse, this is the Sabian symbol of 26 degrees Libra. The Sabian symbol is an eagle and a large dove, turning one into the other. Seeing change, being flexible, love changes everything, and how a warrior can bring peace and also the need for peace to bring justice along. How love actually is strength and full of that strength, and what may seem as one thing can also actually be something different. It's all a matter of perspective. This is a time where relationships is very important. Libra is all about relationships, and a lot of people think it's only personal relationships. Libra is the two scales. When we have the scales, it's very mercantile. It's very businesslike because in the olden times, people would put the item on one side and then they would put the gold or whatever they were exchanging it for on the other. And that's how they knew the value, was by the weight of the two items and comparing it. So when we are getting together with Libra and in relationships, we are actually observing the worth of something, okay, that we are offering or someone is offering us compared to what we would give in exchange. So that's very important because what we are willing to give exchange is more important than necessarily what someone wants us to give them. And that's very important in relationships because when we say that, what we're actually saying is you might need to be loved a certain way. Maybe you're one of those people who need to hear, I love you, I love you, I love you. And so you get together and you meet someone, you're like, woohoo, look at those lust and all that. And it's bringing you together. But this person is not talking and saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. Instead, they're more the touchy feeling type. They support you, they hold your hand, and you're like, you never tell me and you love me. Well, that's going to be confusing because they're giving you what they can give you, what they think is valuable, but it's not necessarily what you think is valuable and what you need. So in relationships, we really need to know ourselves. And with Libra, we really need to know the worth of what is going on inside of ourselves. So here with the eclipse full moon and with Libra, it's actually saying, get to know yourself. What do you value? What is your worth? What is it worth to someone else? And do you mind what you're getting in exchange for that? Because if not, then you might feel like it's not worth it, or that other person's going to feel that they're not worth. It's just that we cannot appreciate it, or it's not as important to us individually. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. It just is what it is. Okay. In this time of relationship, we need to understand that with a full moon, a lot of times there's endings, but this is a very loving, it's ruled by Venus, which is a lot of love. But Venus doesn't just dominate the love, it also encourages value and money. Okay, that's how come a lot of times we put beauty with money. Sometimes we always see those relationships. Why is you got this type of woman with this kind of man? Well, he has money, but she has beauty, and they're interchanging that energy. Okay, and we need to realize what it is that we are interchanging. Another thing too is Libra is not just about financial worth, but the worth that we are being connected with our divine creator. What is it? How do we feel connected? Are we even connected? Or are we just here on this material world? Remember, our soul growth is why we are here. How you choose to grow is really upon your individual chart. Okay? Now, in that soul growth, it's all to become connected with our divine creator. All right? You may call him God, Allah, whatever names you choose. Either way, we are trying to be or doing our best to be one with that source, that energy, that beautiful aura that just comes from inside to the outside. And that what Libra is asking for, because remember, Libra is also beauty, and they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What I might think is a beautiful painting, someone else might be like, okay, what is that? That's surrealistic, that's Cubanistic, is that the blue period? And that's beautiful. And I might be like, woohoo, blue's my favorite color, yay, Picasso, I love the blue period. People are like, oh no. So it's really, really a certain perspective. It's neither right nor wrong. It just is what it is, and that person's perspective. What we can do is we can get to know the person and understand that perspective, so we can value that person and that perspective more, and then understand where they are coming from with love. Because really, to be connected with our divine creator, we have to come with an open heart, unconditional love. Our heart chakra needs to be really open and balanced. That ego needs to be put aside. It's out of the picture completely. And that's very hard, because one of the reasons we're here is to balance that, is to let go of our ego and really give and just be open with our love without wanting something in return. If we happen to get something in return, more power for us, wonderful, but it shouldn't be expected. It shouldn't be assumed, and it shouldn't be unspoken and say, well, why couldn't they have figured that? If we don't express what we need, if we don't express how we are to be loved, how is someone supposed to do it? How are they supposed to guess? Unless they're telepathic or they're an intuitive or psychic, they're not going to know. Nowhere is there a book that says Sirena Nereida for dummies, or John Doe for dummies, Jane Doe for dummies. So we have to speak up without fear and from a loving place and say, this is what I need, this is what I desire, this is what I want. Can you help me out with that? Because really, even though being completely independent and balancing our masculine and feminine energies, we still need to grow, and our soul's only going to grow through nurturing and balancing in our interdependentness. We need to relate with others. There's a movie with Tom Hanks where I'm very terrible with names, we all know that. But anyway, the movie, he is the sole survival of this plane crash, and he's on this island, but he still goes goes through a lot of soul growth, because he has to interact with nature, with the animals on that island. He even has this volleyball that he gives it a name, and he talks with it, but he has to grow and deal with his circumstances. So my point is, even if we try to hide out in a cave or out in the boonies or away from everybody, we are still going to have to grow through one way or another. Our divine source is going to make us. We cannot just say, I just want this and this is how it's going to be forever. Circumstances are always going to come our way, and it's for a positive reason, because that way we come again. Remember, the goal is to become connected, become one with our divine creator. Okay, another thing that's going on, we need to understand is when we have too much expectations on other people, especially when we don't share what those expectations are, we're gonna be let down, because we do not have the right to control another human being. I mean, even parents think, oh, well, I'm going to control my child because my child could do this and that. We need to respect what is that person's sole purpose. And if we demand certain things from another human being, we are stunting them. We are taking away their free will. In fact, it is a type of enslavement, and that is not just. And being that the full moon is in Libra, that is not fair, and we are taking away the equality, the energy of equality and justice and fidelity. Some people call it fellowship. very important. So we need to always be in awareness of what is going on with the people also around us. Okay, so let's talk about some planetary aspects. And one of the planetary aspects we got going on right now is we have Pisces, Venus in Pisces, and Chiron are in Pisces. So Pisces is a very dreamy sign. It's very watery, emotional, and Venus being, oh, it's so poetic, very musical, dancing movement of the feet, okay? And Chiron is the wounded healer. So with all this, we get to heal ourselves through love. Now, interesting enough, it's also with a Cancer, okay? Jupiter in Cancer. So there's expansionists. So we have this wonderful romantic, dreamy aspect of what love is and what we want it to be. And it can expand and it can heal us, all right? And that is wonderful. Once again, though, we need to express it. We cannot assume it. We cannot expect it. By expressing it and sharing it with others, if I tell you, hey, I'm hungry, they'll be like, oh, okay, great. Or if I say, I'm in the mood for, or I'm craving for seafood salad, well, people know then how to offer, what to offer me, if they can. True? So remember, it's great to indulge ourselves in love, either be it with a child and parent, with co-workers, or romantic love with our spouses or our partners. Either way, we need to express what we need and what we crave and what we want. Another planetary aspect going on is that with Jupiter is in Cancer and it's opposite still of Capricorn and Pluto. We have had that for about a good, 5 months. And what that is doing is, remember Capricorn, okay? They go in the cave, they need some time to think and retreat what has going on. Very, very focused sign. In fact, they are willing to work ahead, very conventional. The traditions are very mandatory because they don't know another way. Those are their rules, their laws to live by. Yet it's coming in from Pluto, so it's a psychological issue. And with Jupiter in Cancer, we are expanding that nurturing. So we're having somewhat of a conflict, a pull there, because they're in opposite signs. And then Jupiter being expansive. And then we have Pluto, which is, been downgraded from a planet, but either way, it's a dwarf planet. And it's going from underground. So a lot of earthquakes have been happening. A lot of things that are being unearthed is coming to the surface, and it's hitting us emotionally because Cancer is an emotional sign, and Capricorn does not like that. They just want to do what they need to do. They don't want to deal with the emotions. They really avoid it. And it's not because they don't have emotions. Really, they are very emotional, okay? They just don't like it. It's just, they don't know what to do. It's too watery for them. They prefer right there on the surface because they know where to go. They don't want to have to say, do I swim through here and there? But either way, it is happening. So a lot of people with Capricorn signs in them, and also Capricorn represents institutions, government institutions, religious institutions that have long existed, okay? Any type of institution that has laws, requirements, rules are now being renovated, okay? And there's a type of revolution, but because Jupiter is in Cancer, and Jupiter is also expansion of being out there, all right, with spirit, with the divine source, okay, with energy, with the universe. It's asking to widen the horizon, that those ideas of being very narrowed are no longer functioning for our time and place on this fifth dimension. A lot of people are still stuck on the third dimension. We need to move up, and it's hard for many people because we have worked so much on the third dimension. The children that are being born since 2012, they are lucky because they're being born into the fifth dimension. They got it. They're going. You see these little kids with the computers. I mean, they know more than I do. It's amazing. Okay, another planetary aspect that's going on is we have Libra in North Node conjunct Libra eclipse moon. And what that means is there's more human interest going on in relationships. There's an emphasis between me versus we, I versus you. Okay, and so we need to really understand what is that contractual agreement, because again, Libra is all about, balance and equality, fidelity, and evaluating and sharing worth. Okay, so by doing that, there's an agreement. Anytime we do an exchange of energy, exchange of material items, even when we go to a store, we are saying, I agree that, let's use my scarf for example. I go to the store and it says, $10, $15, and I'm willing to pay that. I'm telling that person, I agree that this is worth that. And that person is saying, I agree to that also. It's a contractual agreement. It is a verbal one. For some of us who sign with checks or with credit cards, it's a written one. Okay, either way, it's an agreement in understanding the value and the quality of the item or of the energy that's being exchanged. Okay, another planetary aspect that's going on is that the sun is in Aries. All right, and it's opposite the Libra North Node. So once again, Aries, the warrior, it wants to go. It's the youngest of the signs. It's ready to go. Yeah, it's those teenagers who have just joined the military. They have that, oh, wonderful positive attitude. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to make an impact. I do this. I'm going to believe in this. Yes, I'm going to fight. And then what's going on is Libra North Node is saying, wait up, hold on. Do you know what you're actually doing? Do you know why you're going to go forward? Do you know what you're fighting for? And a lot of times, Aries, the sign, jumps before it thinks, and it jumps not just in any old way, it jumps head first without seeing if there's any rocks on the bottom. So we have to be very careful because Libra is in an air sign. And so here it's saying, yeah, you're going to jump, but you're going to be flying around, maybe flipping around, hitting some clouds, or I shouldn't say hit, but being involved in clouds. And are you going to catch that tornado involved? Okay, there is so much more involved than just moving forward and say, I'm going to fight for it, let's go. Is it something really you believe in? And that is very important because when we move forward, a lot of people have that nervous energy that they can't sit still. They got to move, move, move. But they're not directing that energy. Okay? It's kind of like a kite. We're throwing the kite up there. Aries sun is the kite, but we need to direct it and work with the air. Otherwise, it's just going to come down or it's going to go and fly out of the hands. It's going to be erratic. We need to make sure that energy has a direct purpose, a positive purpose. And because it's Libra, a purpose that's going to be beneficial and a win-win situation for all of society. And that's always difficult because it's hard to please everybody. A wonderful healer, Bob Bell, always says is you cannot please everybody, but it's very easy to piss off everybody. So that is something to remember. Okay, another thing going on is that we have Libra is in Mars. My goodness. And it's opposite Mercury in Aries. So we have Mars. It wants to move forward. Mars originally rules Aries and Scorpio. It wants to move forward. It wants to make an impact. It wants to, make holes in that cement wall. Yet it is right now retrograde. It's trying to move, but it's like it's in quicksand. And it's like, oh my goodness. And because of the air, every time it thinks it's going to, fly off, it's being pushed back. Okay, it's like 5 steps forward and 7 steps backwards. And so it's frustrating a lot of people. Remember, Mars is in retrograde till March 20th, okay? And during this time, we just need to be observing, watch how we're moving, and if things are not happening the way we want to, it's okay. Breathe, Take a step back. Okay, what are the lessons here? How can I improve my method and the manner in which I go forward? And because it's opposite Mercury in Aries, Mercury wants to express itself. It wants to, again, it's in Aries. So it's like, hey, and it's being a little pushy, okay? Because Aries is the warrior. It's the bully. It wants to move forward, okay? And Mercury is an air sign, so they're both in air signs, but it's not working because Aries is also fire. So what happens sometimes is that it's not being directed, because what happens with air when it hits fire? It just all of a sudden you got this big forest fire going on, and it's just making chaos, okay? And the only good about that is sometimes the forest needs to be burned down so the new growth can happen. But otherwise, it's going to destroy anything in its path. So we need to be very careful the way we express ourselves, because Mercury being in Aries, a lot of people are speaking before they think. And with Mars being in Libra, we really need to pause. And it's okay. A lot of people don't like that silence. If they're fearful of it, they don't know what to do with it. And it's good to ponder. And it's okay to say, let me think about that. I don't have an answer for you right now. I don't know. And it's quite all right. In fact, it is more responsible to be honest. And it is more balanced and grounded when a person can say that, because their ego is outside. Because they're actually really considering the benefit for the good, which is what we have Mars in Libra. Okay, moving right along, we have Cancer. Jupiter's in Cancer, and it's squaring Mercury in Aries, and it's squaring Pluto in Capricorn. So we got a cardinal T-square, okay? Go 1, 2, and 3. And so this is pulling and pushing, okay? Not only do we have opposite, but then we got something pulling here. So what happens if we have two things here pulling aside, then we got something going, it's going to collapse, okay? So what we're trying to build here is going to collapse, and it needs to collapse, because those ideas, being in cardinal signs, they're the initiatives. They move forward, they start things, and they're very traditional. But that whole system is collapsing, and it's happening back and forth for the next year and a half continuously. Okay, so we're seeing things happening in our government. We're seeing things happen in society all around the world. That collapse, those items collapsing. Sorry about that. Okay. Another thing going on is Jupiter is in Cancer, like I mentioned before. It is squaring Uranus in Aries. Remember, Uranus is sudden movement, and then being in Aries, oh my goodness, we got fire, we got metals. Be careful, because Jupiter in Cancer, we're going to have exaggeration. So sometimes we might cut ourselves, or we're moving too quickly and we hurt ourselves, okay? And then with this full moon, it's bringing the fluids to the surface so we can bleed easier, we can bloat more. So we need to be very aware of that. And it's squaring Pluto in Capricorn and squaring Mars in Libra. So now not only do we have a T-square, but we actually have a cross. It's called a cardinal cross. And once again, the cardinal being traditional things going on is all pulling. Okay, so sometimes we have things that it's going to be supportive, and other things are going to collapse. During this time in society, we see a lot of bankruptcy going on, financial crashes, all right? There's urges for big change, and there's going to be a lot of doubts in morality and within self-value. And it's okay to take that time to sit back and go, what is going on? But remember, very important, because these are cardinal signs that are so directed in traditional and conveys, those methods are no longer working for us. We need to take a new perspective. We need to find a new method to apply and to move forward. Okay, so really quickly now, the individual signs of what's going on. Aries, this full moon is happening in your 7th house of partnerships. Once again, partnerships is not just marriage or your boyfriend, girlfriend, and really it's only in your partnerships that there's a contractual agreement. It could be unspoken, it could be written. So if you're living with a roommate, if it's romantic or not, that is a partnership. It could be a business partnership, and believe it or not, open enemies. When we are very open, say, you are my enemy, that is a contract. That is an agreement, because even though it's negative, we are saying, I'm going to create some very bad situations in your life, and vice versa. We shouldn't, but it is considered a partnership. So these things are changing tremendously, Aries. So be very aware of that and make sure you are directing the energies. Don't expect things to happen overnight. Remember, Mars is in retrograde. Okay, Taurus, moving right along. We have it's in your sixth house of health, in your daily routine, also in your pets. So those who are helping you, your co-workers, if you have people who are helping you at home, perhaps you have a gardener or a butler or a nanny. So these items in your daily life are changing. It's time to take notice of your health. How can you change it for the benefit and make it productive, and also encourage others to take those steps forward? Take a look at what's going on with your pets and seeing, are they in good health? Okay, how can you benefit with the interaction with them? Again, Gemini, now we're in your fifth house. Okay, and so this is all about children, entertainment, romance. Now romance is very different than being in a marriage or in a living together with your couple. This is that fun beginning part where you go on those dates and you have the candlelight. Okay, for romance to happen, we must make an effort. We actually ask the person, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Can I spend some time with you? I like to do this and that with you. We are making an effort. A lot of people say, oh goodness, my marriage, it doesn't have any romance in it. Has an effort been taken forward? And if not, it needs to. Okay, this is also with children. Fun, 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 fun. If we don't have fun, if we don't have that bliss and happiness, our vibration, our frequency lowers, 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 and deadens. We need higher frequency, especially on this fifth dimension. So Gemini, get it going. You got that air. The full moon is in an air sign, so you could really get it going, expanding it and enjoying it more. Cancer, this is happening in your fourth house of home. Home is not just your physical home, but also your home inside of you. Where do you go to retreat? Okay, in Cancer, you're a water sign, so it's very important that you have water around you. You're going to see changes in that. And also, the home does usually represent, for the most part, the mother symbol in your life. It could be a guardian, your actual mother, or a female who has taken dedication and to nurture you and bring you up, or right now just being by your side and being supportive. So you're going to see changes in there. Be aware and also nurture and support that area of your life. Okay, Leo, this is in your third house. Your third house is communications. It's also in your primary learning. Go out, take a new class, okay? Something around in your neighborhood, a community class. See what's going on with your neighbors. Go take a walk. Have conversation. Do you know who your neighbors are? Leo, you are very much liking the spotlight. So do it now within the neighborhood. Communicate. Communicating is not just verbal, but it's also written. Nowadays we have texts, okay, emails, all right, writing, blogs. Continue that. Widen your spectrum, widen your audience, and I know Leo likes that, okay? So let's move on with Virgo. This deals in your second house of self-value. Self-value includes beauty, and it also includes finances. So somehow your personal finances are changing. Remember, change is not necessarily bad or good. Virgo, you guys like stability, but know that sometimes we need to adjust something, and sometimes you guys could be very workaholic. So take this change as an opportunity to expand yourself and see new things and bring those values into yourself, so that way you can add something to your resume. Libra, this happens in your first house. That means that you're going to have some actual changes about you, your physical changes. Maybe new hairstyle, glasses, losing some weight, or you decide to change your clothing. Somehow you are going to change your physical approach also towards humanity, towards society. More power to you, Libra. Scorpios, this is in your 12th house, so you got a lot going on in here. Oh, and you don't like to have to deal with the emotions. You love other people. You love instigating. You love to investigate other people. You want to be left alone, though. You want to be put into that water cave and say, let me be, because there are control issues every time when you are feeling that things are out of control. Instead of disciplining yourself, you try to control your environment, and the best thing to do is control yourself. So if you know you don't like those watery emotions going on, learn how to swim. If not, scuba dive. Find different ways. Maybe you need a boat, but do it where you're disciplining yourself and not attempting to control others, because they will resent you in this time, and you don't want that. Okay, Sagittarius, such a fun sign. And guess what? It's happening in your 11th house of goals, of groups, and teamwork. So perhaps you're going to start a new team, new sports. You're going to have new goals, and there's other people involved, okay? Those people are going to be changing, all right? You're going to have a whole new turnover of who is going to be important at that time. And the nice thing is, since you guys are that Rolling Stone, you're that wander on the Harley going cross country, you don't mind interacting. You're going to find this very positive and very supportive. Okay, Capricorns, this is happening in your 10th house, so you're going to see a lot of changes happening in your career. Supervisors will be leaving, hence new ones will be coming into. It could be a female supervisor, all right, in particular, that is leaving or that is coming in. But you're going to see those changes. What does that mean for you? Are you ready for that new supervisor? Or perhaps it is time for you to now become that supervisor, that one in charge. Are you willing to take that responsibility? Are you willing to put aside your personal relationships for that responsibility? Because Capricorn, I know you love to have those titles, but at what risk? At what consequences? So think twice, Here you might want that title on your door. You might want that new parking spot. You might want that reputation. But what is going to happen on the other hand? Maybe it's okay. Maybe your kids are all grown up. Maybe you're single. So throwing yourself into that is something positive. But if you have new children that are very young and need your attention, that's not exactly going to be in your best interest. So really evaluate the worth of doing that. But know that there's opportunities and there will be changes in the hierarchy in your career. Okay, Aquarius, this is happening in your 9th house. Wow, this is happening in how you are connecting with our divine creator, with energy, with source in the universe. That is, you're expanding on that. It is changing, and you're fixed sign, yet you're air. So really, the air going with the eclipse, the full moon in Libra, is going to be positive for you because you are air. Yet you do not like changes, but understand it is for the good, okay? And this is really going to help you connect more on an international, on a worldly scale, as opposed to just the society that's around you. And because Aquarius really, really is a detached sign from the emotions of personal, they are very in tune of what's going on in society, all right? And in this time, you have more opportunity to be doing that. So wonderful. I shouldn't say expect, but I hope to see wonderful adjustments and contributions from you, Aquarius. And Pisces, this is your 8th house. This is the house of other people's finances, of transformation, and of that wonderful 3-letter word, sex. things are going to change there. It is how you interact with others, and it's going to then see how your self-value is not so much the same perspective. That go ahead, be open to the perspective of others, and that will help you grow. All right, maybe you're relying too much on other people's perspectives. Maybe you need to rely a little bit more. So really evaluate, see how that is, and implement it into your everyday life. Once again, thank you for listening. This is Sirena Nereida with Celestial Soul Wellness, and you may contact me for your personal chart on www.celestialsoulwellness. Visit me on YouTube with Nereida Sirena, or on Facebook, Sirena Nereida. Have a beautiful, gorgeous week. Chaucito. Bye-bye.